Vectors are commonly used to algebraically represent quantities that have both magnitude and direction, for example, the wind. But oftentimes we would say if the wind is coming from the southeasterly direction and blowing at 10 miles an hour, that's not giving me that vector in component form. It's giving me the vector by using the magnitude 10 miles an hour and the direction from the southeasterly direction. So this video describes a way that we can take that magnitude and direction and turn it into a vector in component form that we can use algebraically. So let's say we've been given a vector, and let's call this vector v, and we have been told that vector v makes a certain angle with the positive x-axis, and perhaps we know the magnitude of the vector. So in our verbal scenario a moment ago, we would say the magnitude of the vector was the speed of the wind, 10 miles an hour, and that would be represented, that magnitude would be represented by having a vector whose length is 10. So we're given the magnitude of the vector and we're given the angle that the vector is acting on our particular object. If we have a vector graphed as a position vector with the initial point at the origin, we know that the terminal point of this vector would correspond to the component. So if we landed at the ordered pair AB, we could say that vector v can be written as a position vector as pointy bracket a comma b, or we could say that vector v would be written as a times I plus b times j in component form. So really what we need to find is this AB quantity, the terminal point of our vector, and if we have that terminal point, then we would have the components. So let's drop a perpendicular from our point down to the positive x-axis so that we get a triangle where the horizontal side of our triangle is A and the vertical side of the triangle is length B, the x and y coordinates of that ordered pair. And we remember from our right triangle trigonometry that the cosine of an angle is going to be the adjacent side over the hypotenuse side. Now this is the length of the adjacent side over the length of the hypotenuse side. So in order to kind of make format agreement here, I'm going to talk about the length of the hypotenuse side as being mag v. And this is so that all the lengths of all the sides of my triangle are all scalar quantities, right? They're all lengths represented by real numbers. And so we've got mag v is the length of the hypotenuse side. Well, that's going to give me that the A quantity, or the horizontal component of my vector, can be rewritten as mag v times the cosine of theta if I just multiply both sides by mag v. Now, similarly, we can say the sine of our angle theta is going to be the opposite side over the hypotenuse side, or b over mag v. The b component, or the y value of the ordered pair, can be rewritten as mag v times the sine of theta. So that means that this ordered pair can now be expressed as the x-coordinate being mag v times the cosine of theta, and the y-coordinate being written as mag v times the sine of angle theta. And as we've stated before, a vector can be expressed as a position vector or in component form. I'm going to use position vector pointy bracket notation, where the ordered pair that is the terminal point of my vector is going to be the components of the vector in position vector form, like this. I have my vector written or drawn so that the initial point is at the origin, so the terminal point, the ordered pair at which we terminate, is going to match the components of the vector, right? And since this vector v has a common factor, a common scalar quantity in both of the components, mag v is the scalar quantity representing the length of the vector. It's common to both components, so I could factor that out and write it as a scalar multiple of cosine theta and sine theta as the vector. be expressed in component form as mag v times the vector in component form cosine theta, which is the scalar multiple of my I vector, plus sine theta, which would be the scalar multiple of my j vector. And then close that up with soft brackets, definitely not pointy brackets because we are in component form with the second notation. And so this is where our formula for writing a vector in component form based on just having the magnitude and the direction given, I can use this formula to find my vector in component form that makes it easier to work with algebraically. So let's look at a quick example here. A ball is thrown with an initial velocity of 25 miles per hour and an angle of 30 degrees. So we've been given the velocity, which can be represented by the magnitude of a vector, and we've been given the angle at which the ball is thrown. We want to find a vector that represents that initial velocity. So at an angle of 30 degrees, we're going to have something that's kind of small. Let's just make it look like this so that our angle is 30 degrees here. And we're going to label this with vector v for velocity, and we know that the magnitude of that vector is going to be 25. Remember, the length of the vector is representing the magnitude of the velocity, the magnitude of the force, the speed of the wind, right? The greater the force or the greater the velocity or the greater the wind power, the longer the vector. So the length of the vector represents this 25 miles per hour. So we need to figure out what the components are going to be. Now let's use our formula and then try to understand the formula from our image here. So we know that the magnitude of this vector, the length of that vector is 25. Our formula says that in order to get the components of this vector, we're going to take the magnitude of our vector and multiply it by cosine theta, and that's going to be my multiplier of my I vector, plus the sine of the angle theta, and that's going to be my multiplier of my j vector, like this. Okay, so we'll start off by saying mag v, we know mag v is 25. We've been given that information. And so now we're going to figure out what is the cosine of angle theta. Well, theta is equal to 30 degrees. My brain remembers that in radians, pi over 6. And so the cosine of 30 degrees is the cosine of pi over 6, which is rad 3 over 2. And that's my multiplier on my I vector. And then the sine of 30 degrees, sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. And that's going to be my multiplier on my j vector. So let's distribute our 25 in order to kind of write this in a little bit more of a little bit less cluttered way. So this is going to be 25 rad 3s over 2 as my multiplier on I, plus 25 over 2 as my multiplier of j. And this is my v vector in component form, which could also be written as a position vector, and I actually prefer the position vector notation because it feels just a little less cluttered. The pointy brackets would only need the horizontal component, which is 25 rad 3s over 2, and then we do not put i's and j's when we have pointy brackets. And then we would have 25 over 2 as the y component, or the vertical component, and this would be our vector written as a position vector. So this is position vector form, and this is component form for the same vector. Now let's quickly try to make sense of that with our drawing. So we're essentially saying that since we have it drawn so that our initial point is at the origin, this terminal point here as an ordered pair with soft brackets would be representing the x-coordinate 25 rad 3s over 2, and then 25 over 2 like this, which means that if we dropped a perpendicular, the length of this side would be 25 rad 3s over 2, and the length of this side would be 25 over 2. So if you'll recall, we had memorized a triangle, the 30, 60, 90 triangle, where if this angle was 30, this angle was 60, and then we had 90 degrees, we remember that the side across from the 30 degrees is 1, the side across from 60 degrees is rad 3, and the hypotenuse side of that triangle was 2. And this is one that we memorized when we were first learning about the sine, cosine, and tangent of some known angles. Well, if we wanted to scale our triangle up to get a similar triangle where the length of the hypotenuse side was 25, well, we need to figure out what would we need to multiply everything by in order to get the hypotenuse side that is the length that we want it to be, which is 25 units. So essentially, 2 times what quantity is equal to 25? Well, if we were to multiply everything by 25 over 2, then we're going to get hypotenuse side. So if I multiply this by 25 over 2, I'm going to get a hypotenuse side that's 25, right? And so if we do that to one of the sides, we have to do that to all of the sides. So this one would be multiplied by 25 over 2, so would this one. And that's going to give us a triangle that we're looking at. We're going to have this side that's now 25 rad 3 over 2, this side that is 25 over 2, and this side that is 25. So our components that we had a moment ago are actually the correct ones for this vector.